The country of giants. One day, you arrived in the land called the Mountain of the Valley of Waves, Bogus Han, not far from the city where the sun and the moon rise. He moved towards a small mountain, but after a dozen, he noticed that the small mountain turned out to be a palace. He looked at 5 or 6 giants who were squatting and arguing about something. They say that these giants descended from dragons, then their land was called the Land of the Brothers of Dragons. You returned and noticed other giants who were busy with some business. He looked up and saw a giant approaching. He almost stepped on him. You rushed back and shouted loudly. They noticed him, and soon the other giants gathered to listen to why you came. 400 of kilometers, said you, the mountains are blocked by the Yellow River. To connect it with the sea, great power is needed. We will help you, the giants encouraged him. When they came to the mouth of the Huanghe, they raised the mountain with their mighty hands and threw it into the sea. The water immediately rushed through the breach, which was called the Gates of the Dragon. 10 years have passed. You came home. He saw how the young man was amused by draining water from the drains. Have you seen my father? He asked. This is the great. Tell him to come to help me pump out the water. Your father is engaged in the improvement of the country. He will come back when the water is subdued, the mother replied. You, very satisfied, went on the road. For many years, Niu Jiao waited for her husband. One day she saw a traveler, clearly walking from afar, and recognized his husband in him, exhausted, thin, in rags, covered with wool, and invited him to come into the house to rest. No, he replied. The work has not yet been completed. People are still locked in the hills. And he left without turning around. Years passed, you still went from north to south and from east to west at the head of the workers. It took 13 years for water to flow from mountains to plains, lakes, and rivers. The plains were drained and became suitable for processing. Houses were built on them. Yuyo's Walk Yui worked so hard that he erased his fingernails and knee hair. He couldn't put one foot in front of the other and then sneered. Since ancient times in China, the dance movements of fortune tellers were called the Yu Walk. Finally, Yu returned home. He became the first emperor of the Xia dynasty, and he made his wife empress. He ordered to distribute rice to the people and cover the lowlands with them, established a list and the size of taxes from different regions of the country. He is also considered the author of Shanhai Jing, the first book on the geography of China. He became a god. Yu walks all over the world to improve him. He balances it with 5 sacred mountains located in the 4 directions of the world and in the center, then calling the deity from the great mountains and the great rivers.